Tonight, the FBI is investigating two men after an explosive device with bolts and screws was thrown into a crowd. It happened in New York City on Saturday during a protest that turned violent outside the mayor's official residence. CBS's Chanel Call is there with the very latest tonight. Chanel.
And Jerika, New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani, who is Muslim, was inside Gracie Mansion when a small anti-Islam protest took place here yesterday afternoon. A larger counter-protest then showed up, and police say two men who were part of that group brought those homemade devices.
Stay in New York.
This is the moment a homemade bomb was ignited outside the New York City mayor's residence Saturday afternoon.
He threw a bomb? Did he throw a bomb, bro?
NYPD Commissioner Jessica Tisch says the device did not explode, but that it could have caused serious injury or death.
Based on preliminary examination and X-ray imaging, the devices, which were a bit smaller than a football, appear to be a jar wrapped in black tape, importantly, with nuts, bolts, and screws, along with a hobby fuse that could be lit.
The man seen throwing it, 18-year-old Amir Balat and his 19-year-old friend Ibrahim Kayumi, both from Pennsylvania, were arrested. Authorities say they were part of a group of nearly 125 people counter-protesting a much smaller anti-Islam demonstration led by Jake Lang.
The violent
A pardoned U.S. Capitol insurrectionist who has frequently sought out political confrontations in the months after President Trump gave him clemency. In a statement, Mayor Zohran Mamdani is saying, quote, yesterday, white supremacist Jake Lang organized a protest outside Gracie Mansion rooted in bigotry and racism. Adding, quote, what followed was even more disturbing. Violence at a protest is never acceptable. And police also say they found a third device in a vehicle just down the street from here. The FBI now investigating this as terrorism. And Jerika, sources telling CBS News authorities are also now working to determine if either of those two men were inspired by ISIS.
Now, I wonder how or Trump would feel about this whole situation, just thinking about he's the one who pardoned this person for the January 6th storming of the Capitol. 19 and 18 years old, already trying to throw their lives away. Now, just remember what they said. They said that the bomb, it was a glass jar with nuts, screws, and everything, probably gunpowder in it, wrapped up, used as making homemade shrapnel. That if they didn't get it close to you, or all they got to do is get it close to you. It's a crazy situation. Let's go over into the next video to hear more about the suspects.
Meanwhile, let's go to New York. Improvised explosive devices thrown during rival protests this weekend are now being investigated as ISIS-inspired. That's according to the New York City Police Department. This incident happened, and you can see the melee there right outside the home of New York Mayor Zohran Mamdani. Charges for the suspects in this incident just announced. So a lot to talk about here, and watching it closely is Anna Schechter. She's the senior coordinating producer for CBS News Crime and Public Safety Unit. Okay, so break these charges down, because when we say ISIS-inspired or potentially ISIS-inspired, that elevates this.
100%, Reed. These are very serious charges. Each of these young men is facing 5 federal counts, all related to terrorism and weapons of mass destruction. I mean, it's echoes of previous time, right? But when you read the indictment, there are details about one, Amir Balat, who is the young man, 18 years old from Pennsylvania, who threw that first IED. And he said that he had pledged allegiance to the Islamic State. That's what he told investigators, according to this complaint. Now, it's unclear how he is going to plead, so we should say that. Now, Ibrahim Kayumi, who's 19 years old, who handed Balat the second IED when the first one didn't go off, he also told police as soon as he got into the vehicle, and police asked him, why did you do this? And apparently he said ISIS. That's also according to this complaint. So there's a narrative of exactly what they were saying to police. They both waived their Miranda rights, apparently. But I'll just read you. I've got the indictment right here. It's not very long. So, excuse me, I've got the complaint with 5 counts. Attempted provision of material support and resources to a designated foreign terrorist organization. That's count 1. Count 2, use of a weapon of mass destruction. Count 3, transportation of explosive materials. Count 4, interstate transportation and receipt of explosives. And lastly, count 5, unlawful possession of destructive devices. Reed.
Now, here's the main question. Main question is, why are so many young kids, or why are so many young kids getting radicalized nowadays? It's 18 and 19 years old and they're willing to throw away their lives? Throw away their lives to kill whoever they could. Because that bomb just wouldn't have killed whoever they targeted. It was anyone in the vicinity would have been hurt. And this is something they come up with at 18 or 19 years old. They were led to do this, or were they raised to do this? That's the question. Let's keep going.
What kind of a profile are we getting as we start to look at these 2 young men? It's my understanding they aren't from New York.
No, they're not. They've lived in Pennsylvania for years. Emir Balat's family is originally from Turkey. They're naturalized citizens, and they live in a nice 2-story home. Ibrahim Kayumi also living with his family in Pennsylvania. His family originally from Afghanistan. They came even earlier, about 15 or 20 years ago, when his parents came. So these are families that have lived in the U.S. for years, and they're all U.S. citizens. Now, we don't know exactly when that first ISIS extremist material started to influence them, how long that this has been brewing. We don't have those details in the complaint, but our sources did tell us that they essentially were radicalized in part online. And I'll tell you one line in this complaint at the very end. The young men told police that they had been looking at ISIS material on their phone. So,
Wow.
it's just another case.
Sensational.
Be careful. Be careful with what you allow your kids to watch. It's a crazy situation, and there's a crazy world out there, y'all. Let's keep going into it.
Of social media, right? I should tell you, Reed, right now, this is breaking news. They are both in a federal courtroom in Manhattan. This is their first court appearance. Just now, they're both wearing white paper suits. Apparently, Emir, but his hair has been cut. So very different appearance from the videos that we saw from Saturday. So our Alice Gaynor from WCBS, she is in court right now and is able to report from there. So that's how we're getting this real time, down to the minute reporting, Reed.
And we appreciate that. We have Alice coming up a little bit later in this broadcast. Anna Schechter, always great to have your sharp.
Crazy situation, y'all. They said that they were born here, nationalized citizens, but for some reason they radicalized. Whose fault is it? Is it the stuff that they were watching? Is it the parents for not watching them enough? Is it their own faults because for some reason, they decided to go so far as to try to, most likely kill people? But let's go over into the AI breakdown just to get a little bit more information on this crazy situation. So on September 7th, 2026, 2 homemade explosive devices were ignited and thrown during a violent crash between the far right and counter protesters outside of the mayor's residence. Federal authorities investigating it caused an act of ISIS-inspired terrorism. 3 improv explosive devices, IEDs, were linked to the scene. One confirmed device contained TATP, a volatile explosive, along with nuts, bolts, and screws as shrapnel. A third device was found Sunday inside the car parked nearby. While one device was ignited, none of the explosive actually detonated and no injuries were reported. I'm happy that they weren't good. They weren't able to actually make good bombs. It could have been horrible. Mayor Bandani and his wife were not at home at the time. So the attack occurred during an anti-Islam demonstration led by activist Jake Lang, which was met by a larger group of counter-protesters. 2 men from Pennsylvania were arrested at the scene and arraigned on Monday in federal court. Elima Balit, 18, and Ibrahim Kanhim, 19. I might have said his name wrong. So one is accused of throwing the device, one is accused of supplying explosives and inciting allegiance to ISIS. The suspects face several charges, including attempting to provide material to support a foreign terrorist organization, the use of a weapon of mass destruction. According to the FBI, the men allegedly aimed for the attack to be larger than the 2013 Boston Marathon bombing. That is the goal that they set for themselves. They wanted this bombing to be more than the 2013 Boston Marathon bombing. At 18 and 19 years old, y'all. Young men born here. Absolutely craziness. Why did they decide to turn into supporting ISIS? We might never know. But whose fault is it? Can you blame the parents for this? Do you blame it on the specific child? It's a crazy world, y'all. But let me know your thoughts on this situation. Let me know if you disagree with anything I said.